What up? I'm Jay, he's John, and today we are reviewing Soul Plane for reals.
Directed by Jessy Terrero, starring Tom Arnold, Kevin Hart, Method Man, and Snoop Dogg. After winning a court case against an airline, Nishan, now $100 million richer, opens up his own airline, which happens to be the most ballin' airline you would ever fly with. Their first flight ever is about to take off, the seats are packed, and they're in for a wild ride.
So what's dope about this movie? I love Method Man and been a Wu-Tang fan forever, and having Method Man as Kevin Hart's right-hand man, big fan.
Like, this film is just filled with hip-hop icons. Other than Method Man, you got Snoop Dogg in there, we got Little John.
Yin Yang Twins. I don't think there's a ton of icons, but there's certainly some.
RZA did the music.
And the soundtrack was excellent. And just the whole movie had this like great vibe to it, and I want to be on that plane. Next time I'm on a plane, I want to take the Soul Plane.
Colt 45 tastes like liquored up beer, and it sneaks up on you all of a sudden. And Alizé, oh, that's my favorite. It's from France. It's a cognac. It's very fruity, and it'll make you want to do the huckabuck, then pass out in your own juices.
Every aspect about this plane was unbelievable. Between the nightclub, the strip club, the casino, it was just the coolest plane you could ever imagine flying with. Even if I had to wait in that terminal.
Terminal Malcolm X.
I would be ecstatic. I love chicken and waffles, and the first thing Tom Arnold sees, chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles, usually you gotta go to two places, but there you got the one.
Roscoe's, like, they have all the shops. They have a 99-cent store.
Foot Locker.
Just before a flight, buy 2 pairs of the Air Force Ones. So not only is the Soul Plane awesome, it's also piloted by Snoop Dogg and Gaiman. Excellent characters.
Nah, man, you gotta turn that bullshit off, man. You can't be riding to that bullshit, man.
Hey, don't insult my music.
We ride to some gangster shit. Pop that in, man. Captain don't wanna hear that Zimbabwe, wah shit. Get that shit out of here. Whatever, get it the fuck out of here. I'm the captain of this motherfucking ship.
Absolutely love them, and I love the comedy in general. Almost every joke in this movie hit, and I was a little nervous because when you kick it off with a shit joke, you never know what you're getting into. You don't know how over the top they're gonna push it. But for the most part, it's hilarious. Tom Arnold and his family being the hunkies, or the honkies, you know, experiencing black culture for the first time is absolutely hysterical. And I want everybody to press F for the white women we lost again to the BBC.
I liked a lot of the cameos in this film as well. I mean, Terry Crews, love Terry Crews. I wish he was in it more, but the parts that he was in, he had a great moment with Tom Arnold. I thought that was classic. And John Witherspoon is another one who I really appreciate. I mean, he's really only typecasted as one character, but I love seeing him in all of these films.
Yeah, you smell good too. Ooh, I'm gonna have me some fun on this plane here.
Billy was also a hilarious character. He was the kid of the white family. He was just so funny. Everything that he said just made me crack up.
I'll be right back. I'ma holla at this shorty I saw at the basketball courts. One love, dog.
His sister, Heather, fucking Babe, and Giselle. I think it's the green eyes. It's always the green eyes that get me. Can I just say, I'm not a huge Kevin Hart fan, but I think he did a great job in this. And seeing people like Sofía Vergara, who went on to do Modern Family, like, she wasn't really doing much, not in American cinema at least. And so it's crazy to see where they kind of got their first big gig.
Another character in this film who not many people are aware of, but he's in a lot of stuff, mainly his voice, Gary Anthony Williams. He played Flame, and I thought his character was absolutely hilarious, especially when they're making all the gay jokes.
Whew, we had a whirlwind romance that ended in heartbreak and stomach pumping.
Now before we get into what's whack, it's time for that oh snap moment of the day.
Man, the only way you got stinky pinky is if you were sitting next to Miss Potato Head.
There's always some dude who's a player hater because he ain't getting none.
You know what? Just because you blind don't mean I won't whoop your ass. Looking like a disco lemon, you son of a bitch.
Oh, snap.
Now what's whack? Well, I liked most of the comedy. I wasn't a huge fan of the shit humor. Just kind of like random stuff like that. There's not a ton, but I just wasn't a huge fan. I think they devoted a little too much time to certain characters where they could have shown more characters.
Yeah, like more characters that you like.
Right, like I like the kid more than the two people having sex, but there's 20 minutes of the people trying to have sex. And while I did enjoy that, I think that I would have enjoyed other characters.
Yeah, like for me, like I said, I'd rather see more Terry Crews and John Witherspoon. To me, I think their characters were more interesting with more potential of funnier situations in the story. Him walking around between like the different levels or classes on the airplane, interacting with people, that would have been more funny.
And even Tom Arnold's character, I loved him as like the clueless white guy who's super well-spoken, trying to learn the culture. I thought that was great, but I wanted it more, and I feel like his interactions with his wife, like the big problem with his wife, didn't really come to a head. Like, he just basically said, oh, my wife is now with this model-type dude, and we didn't really see that interaction and that fallout, and there was no reconciliation for any of that. And because Tom Arnold was like a main figure in this movie, it's strange to not have his storyline come to an end.
A film like this, you kind of compare it to like Airplane, where it's a bunch of ridiculous stuff happening on an airplane. But this story, it was trying to give itself a story arc, but it didn't actually peak. Nothing overly bad happened to Kevin Hart's character. Yes, the plane may have lost its captain, but nothing story-wise that led to like him losing his fortune, or that story arc didn't happen. It was very linear in how this film went.
Yeah, they really tried to utilize him not being with the girl that he loves, but it wasn't like a strong enough reason to have a movie about it. So it's like, for most of the movie, there's not a problem. It's just people having fun on a plane. And that's not really how a good movie is made. Probably why it's Soul Plane.
It's a series of interesting characters with not a consistent direction.
Yes, well said. Now it's time for the lowdown. This movie was pretty fun. I really enjoyed myself way more than I thought going in, to be honest. Soul Plane is a good movie. Method Man, Kevin Hart, that Witherspoon guy, Tom Arnold, I think everybody, the whole cast, did a great job, and it was hilarious. I was actually like laughing out loud a lot of the movie, way more than I thought I would. It looks great, the soundtrack's great. I did have a problem with some of like the flow of the movie because there's not a lot of problems. Usually you want a character to overcome something, and in many situations, even if it was like micro situations between people, like different characters, they didn't really have to overcome anything. There's not a lot of problems in this movie. So I needed more problems in this movie. It sounds so fucked, but it's important. I really liked all our characters. I just wish that the screen time was divvied up a little bit better so that we had more of other characters versus some of the characters that I didn't like as much. But all in all, I think it's still a really fun time, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. So I would recommend it. So I'm gonna give Soul Plane 3 Caucasian adapters out of 5.
For those with no junk in their trunk.
This movie is a lot of fun, and if you're a fan of hip hop and rap music, I think you're thoroughly gonna enjoy this. I did enjoy all of our characters, but I also felt that certain characters didn't have as strong of a screen presence as they possibly could have. The story was very linear, and I would have liked more from it. I would have liked some consequences. I would have liked situations that made me feel as though something bad was going to happen to the characters so they could resolve it. And it was just like, something is going to happen, but it's not that bad, so someone comes in the room and says something and the problem's solved. It just wasn't well developed. Then again, it's Soul Plane, so I shouldn't expect too much from it, because this film is meant to be a fun comedy, and that's exactly what it was. It was a fun time, and it is something that you're gonna laugh at. So I would recommend this film. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 2.5 finger-licking good potatoes out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, keep it real by subscribing.